Hey, everybody, welcome to today's episode of Legal Bites, the official podcast of Cummings and Cummings Law, where we focus on helping businesses and their owners redomesticate out of high tax states like California to sunnier climes and greener pastures. Today, I am unpacking a report by a former California entrepreneur who calls the proposed California billionaires tax a Trojan horse, not a solution. Molly Englehart's firsthand account of California's regulatory stranglehold has resonated deeply with many of our clients fleeing the Golden State, and it underscores why redomestication to Florida or Texas is not just smart, it is essential for business survival in some cases. But first, a brief introduction. My name is Chad Cummings, and I am an attorney and certified public accountant serving clients in matters of business, tax, and commercial law throughout the states of Florida and Texas. I am Chief Executive Officer of the multi state, multi attorney law firm Cummings and Cummings Law. And in addition to my day job, I also teach business and tax law at the university level. I hold 4 degrees, including 2 law degrees, as well as a bachelor's in accounting and a master's in tax, in addition to 11 professional licenses and certifications spanning accounting, tax, audit, and of course, the law. My firm website is www.cummings.law. Now, Molly Englehart lived most of her adult life in the Golden State, building restaurants that employed dozens of people while navigating an endless maze of permits, licenses, inspections, and fees. If you've ever seen the cult classic movie Brazil, you will have some idea of what she experienced. She jokes that her assistant didn't work in hospitality, but rather had a full time job in compliance, and that was necessary just to keep the doors open. Now facing the so-called 2026 California Billionaires Tax Act, which proposes a one-time 5% tax on worldwide net worth, she warns it is no Robin Hood Act. Rather, it is Sacramento granting itself a permission slip to accumulate taxes, not earnings, setting a precedent for valuations that could drift downward, much like federal proposals already eyeing the $100 million threshold, but that is another story for another day. This is not abstract. Englehart highlights how most US taxes hit income or sales, but this tax is different. This proposed tax demands that owners declare total wealth verified by state audits. That'll be fun. She invokes constitutional concerns like bills of attainder, which are laws that punish specific groups without notice and an opportunity to be heard, as well as a trial, and notes that the wealthy already drown in California's web of sales taxes, payroll taxes, alcoholic beverage taxes, environmental health certificates, building permits, and land use fees, just to name a few. Even for small business owners, it's not about dodging taxes. It's not about politics. It's just a mathematical equation that forces their hand to leave the state that they love. At my law firm, we have redomesticated a substantial number of California entities out of the Golden State precisely because of this discouraging environment. When a tax like this looms, retroactively hitting residents, even if they leave the state later, let that sink in for just a moment, it accelerates business relocations. Englehart's story mirrors that of many of our clients. For example, a Los Angeles tech firm we moved to Miami last year escaped, escaped California's AB5 gig worker rules, slashing compliance costs by, get this, over 40%, while enjoying Florida's zero state income tax at the personal level and unlimited homestead exemptions that shield primary residences from creditors up to the full value. Fun fact, that is one reason, among others, that O.J. Simpson relocated here in the 90s. But again, I digress. Similarly, Texas offers parallel perks, no income tax in many cases, business friendly courts that resolve disputes in months, or weeks instead of years, and lower energy costs for data heavy operations. We recently redomesticated a Sacramento manufacturing company to Austin, converting its LLC in under 30 days while maintaining full operational and financial continuity, preserving contracts while cutting taxes by over $2 million annually. And those were savings they recognized in the first year. These moves were not isolated. Engelhart warns that this president could widen the net to middle class assets like homes valued at 6 or 7 figures, which is really quite common in California, triggering a broader flight. Now, these implications create a cascading waterfall. First, direct revenue from the tax falls short as billionaires unwind and relocate their empires, like Google co founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin, whilst terminating dozens of California LLCs or redomesticating them out of the state. Second order consequences include lost jobs. Englehart's restaurants employed locals. Now scale that to tech giants, and thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands are set to relocate. Third order consequences need to be considered as well. California state budget shortfalls will force cuts to services, higher taxes on remaining residents, and a feedback loop that Molly Englehart calls California's path to ruin. If this ballot measure gathers the requisite number of signatures and passes, we expect lawsuits challenging its constitutionality generally and its retroactivity specifically. But don't bet your business on the outcome of the court holding. California's Franchise Tax Board audits relentlessly, probing any lingering ties like family members, assets, and they even track IP addresses. And no, I am not kidding. If your business is still anchored to California, now is the time to redomesticate to Florida or Texas. If you have questions regarding this concept of redomestication of your existing LLC or corporation, please use the link in the description below for more information on this intricate process and to schedule time for us to chat about your specific circumstance. Again, my name is Chad Cummings, and I hope that you found this information helpful. As always, the information in this presentation is general in nature, and it is not legal advice because legal advice, by definition, must be specific to a particular set of facts and circumstances. Should you have any questions regarding this information or the content of any of my earlier presentations on this topic, of which there are quite a few, please visit my firm website at www.cummings.law to schedule time for a consultation. I look forward to the opportunity to speak with and perhaps even work with you very soon.